Alright, working on the solar power setup today. I bought this breaker panel, and as I go through it I'll probably explain more. I did do one screw up. I wasn't thinking straight, and I was like, well, I can just use one of these for my breaker coming into my charge controller. And I forgot, I don't know what, I just wasn't thinking. Hell, I put in breaker boxes, I know this, but half of them are on one circuit and half of them are on another circuit. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to come in with my solar panel on one of these lugs and just use one breaker on that circuit. It's actually, I'm going to use a 15 amp because that's what the solar panel was called for. Okay, here's my final wire. I thought I'd show you how I done this. I'm not doing it the proper way. I meant to get some heat shrink. I hadn't done that, or like I said, I'm kind of fumbling with this project. That would be better, but anyway, I'll probably just wrap it up with some tape. But after I cut it, and I cut it with a hacksaw, wasn't the best tool for it, but this is what I had. And if you, my other videos, when I talked about a really high strand count, this is what I was talking about. For this big wire, you want to get some welding cable. You just don't want to use regular, wire that you would have in a house for AC. Plus, it's very flexible. I mean, it's just really soft. And then when I bought my ends, I didn't buy enough. I was short too. I went down to my little local hardware store, and sure enough, he's got a little bit of everything. And sure enough, he had a few of these that would work. So what I'm going to do, and this is by no means the proper way to do this, or it's just me doing what I can with what I got. So I'm going to feed that in there. Just fits. I still got one out. Sorry. Alright. So how I'm doing this, I'll probably end up having to make this a two-part series because there's a lot to cover in a little bit of time. Alright, this is not the best solder to use for this because it's very thin. It's for doing, little wiring boards and connectors in. But I got a couple rolls of it, so that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to have it basically a soldered connection and a mechanical, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. Like I said, it's a real little wire. It looks like I'm putting a ton of solder in here, but I'm really not. It takes a lot to get it filled in there since it's such a small diameter. But like I said, that's what I had. I just didn't see buying solder just for this one. I already had some. It's still hot, so I won't keep feeding it in there. Alright. And I'll probably end up putting a little bit more in there, but I'm going to show you how I crimped it. I didn't buy a crimping tool. What I got is a couple of hammers. And whatever kind of hammers you got will work. Or then that cool down a little bit. But anyway, and what I'm going to do is just take the, or if you got an anvil or a vise, you could do the same thing. If you had a vise, you could just clamp it. But I'm just going to crimp that down. And that way I got a mechanical and a soldered in end. I ain't going to grab it to show you how tight it is because it's hot right now. So anyway, let me finish that up and then I'll show you the next stage. Okay, got these panels on the roof. So they're pretty large. But that's basically where they're going to go. I don't know of the most. I don't think it really is going to matter much anywhere I put them in this area. Let's say the sun comes up over there and kind of does an arc like that. So I only got a small window of getting pure, you know, just hard direct sunlight. But as you can see now, it's overcast, cloudy. But let's stick them in here. Got my voltmeter set up, and I just laid them out here, and just for so I can show you. I don't know if I can do this and get. There we go. Yeah, 33 volts. So they're producing. And I'm going to run them in a series, so I should be getting about 60 volts out of them going to my charge controller. That's what I was told to do, so I'll take that man's advice. It's been helping me out. So anyway, gotta get to work. Anyway, yeah, I didn't do such a good job of repairing that little leak I had, but oh well. Nobody can see it but me and YouTube. Okay, I got some kind of frame here. I think I'm gonna have to readjust one thing. Anyway, I had to go to plan B on how I was going to attach them. I thought where you're supposed to put a ground here, I was just going to drill through that and just bolt it through. But this, I'm not sure what kind of coating this is, or this glass here, but I felt the drill kind of hit it, and I was like, oh, can't do that, I'm going to crack it. So went to plan B, and I didn't feel like driving to the store again, and because I've already done that a couple of times. So I took these boards off the of pallet, cut them, drilled them out. The panels themselves have holes already in them here, but they're up under the inside. If they was on the outside, it just bolted them down, been good. But anyway, so kind of adapted here. So when I flip it over, then I can go on this side and drill screws down through there and drill it to the frame. So that's where I'm at so far. I'm not sure about that. I'm gonna have to look at that. Alright, got my first panel mounted. I did have to go back and adjust my frame. I wasn't thinking straight. I had to add this board here to get the angle at the bottom about the same at the top, or you know, close enough. And don't make fun of my little frame here. I am not a carpenter, and I don't really like working with wood, so you probably can show in my craftsmanship. All I need it to do is function, and I think it'll do that. So like I say, here's a little strips of wood that I bolted from the inside with a nut and bolt, and then on this side I screwed the wood down to a 2x4. And I could have made this out of scrap stuff from my pallets and what have you, but I know it don't look good, but I was at least get treated lumber and not having the piece, like 2 or 3 pieces of wood going across there, and I'll just try to make. Plus, it would make it easier buying new 2x4s. So, and I'll come back and probably box this in to keep the air from coming up and wanting to lift up on it. When a storm or something comes, I will box all this in. So this is just basics. Let me get it going. Let me see it work. and then I can finish up maybe this weekend. Alright, got both of them mounted. Pretty sturdy. I know my frame looks like, you know, crap, and I know a lot of people use the aluminum railing system and they put it straight on the roof, but like I said, the sun goes this way. I mean, if I put a panel on that side or a panel, you know, I could put one on this side and one on that side, but I wouldn't have been getting the optimum, you know, only one of them been working really good. I would rather have both of them getting the same amount of light, and I really think this is going to give me the maximum amount of sunlight. I'll try this again with and see how it's cloudy and overcast. Now, I'm not saying I'm getting any amperage out of this, but just trying to do this one-handed. There you go, 32.5 volts. Alright, and the guy that's helping me out said to put these in a series. Sorry, I'm fumbling around trying to do this while I'm holding the camera. Just have to excuse me 1 minute and I'll get this straightened out. There we go. 64.8 volts. And this is like I said, a very cloudy day. It's not bright out here at all. So, and it's about, I don't know, 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the afternoon. So, that's pretty cool. Some voltage. Let's go finish up some wiring. Alright. Put in a weather tight junction box. Got weather tight couplers, ends, whatever they're called, I forget now. Anyway, I got the wire run. Goes down and then just on top of the house. Yeah, it's not pretty. Like I said, now went up underneath the house coming into it. So I got that in there hooked up, but it's just going to a blank breaker box right now. It's not feeding anything. So I'm gonna button this up. I had a blanket laying over there to kind of keep the voltage down while I was messing around with the wires. Anyway, be right back with. Alright, I got everything wired up but 110 outlets. I don't have the inverter tied in yet. All I gotta do is run it over here to this. This breaker here is coming from my solar panels. Now, according to the solar panels, I'm going by them, they were 8 amps each is what it recommended for a breaker. So that'd be about 16 amps. I got a 15 amp breaker. So coming in from outside the solar panels, I got the positive leg kicking to this breaker. And it's going to go from this breaker down to my charge controller. Now, that voltage you see there, that is my battery volts right now. Now, I have not charged these batteries at all. So what we're seeing is a surface charge or something. I don't know that they were charged already. Being their deep cycle type batteries, I probably need to put a good charge on it before I try to use them. Alright. And then from the charge controller, it goes up to the lug on the main breaker. And it's tied in together here. And that goes back down to my positive on my battery. They're in a series. These are 6-volt batteries. So we've got 2 of them in a series. You go negative to positive. Yeah, and that way you end up with a negative on this side and a positive on that. And they'll give you 12 volts. Okay, my negative on my charge controller is coming down here, is on top of that. So it's going to charge the batteries. And then the negative lug goes over here to my inverter. The positive lug off my inverter is on top of this breaker. So as soon as I turn that on, boom, that will power up the inverter. But I'm not worried about that right now because I want to let these things charge up really good before I start experimenting and using them. So, there's crap everywhere down here. So, like I said, I still got to wire in the 110 stuff, and I'm just going to go straight. I'm going to disconnect wires from breakers in there to different rooms, run them over here, and put breakers in here, and just run them totally off solar power. And there'll be rooms where I just may not even use much, but just when I turn a light on or something like that, it'll actually be coming off the solar power. So low use type rooms, you know, maybe a bathroom or whatever. Yeah, probably a bathroom, because nothing more aggravating than the power being out and you walk in the bathroom and flip the light switch, even when you know you don't have power, still do it. So that probably will be one of the ones I do. So anyway, little drum roll moment. Alright, that's 0. That's coming from, they call them PV, panel volts. Alright, where it says amps there, panel volt amp, I don't know. So let's see what happens. I don't know, maybe you should sit to the side in case something blows up. I don't know. Alright, here we go. Well, I didn't see smoke. Alright. Now, you probably can't see it, but that is 1 point. Oh, come on. Anyhow, 1.3 amps. It's dancing between 1.2. There we go. I can see it now. There's a decimal point there. So that's 1.3 volt amps. I've already checked it. It's 66 volts is what I'm getting voltage wise, DC. So there's the amps, 1.3 amps, feeding the batteries right now. So we are charging. And this charge controller also came with a thermocouple. I got it zip tied to the side of the battery, and what that does is, you know, a really nice big sunny day, if it's just charging the hound out of these batteries and they're already topped off, they'll get hot. So if they get hot, this thing will automatically cut back, or maybe even cut it off altogether and quit charging them. So there we go. Like I say, all I got left is a hook in a couple some 110 outlets. Or I could just turn it on and plug something in right here. Matter of fact, we might do that just to see it work. Hang on, I don't have anything handy. Let me go grab something right. Alright, I went and got a drill. I turned the main breaker on. Turned the inverter on. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's got a little fan inside of it. Got a green light, so we're good to go. 12 point. Let's see if it works. There we go. Still got, yeah. I mean, that ain't much load. Well, that drill was running entirely off solar power. Well, you know, batteries that charge the, solar power that charges the batteries and the inverter, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, alright. Awesome. That is awesome. Like I said, I think I've said it in one of my earlier clips. This DIN rail here, I've already ordered 2 breakers. I'm going to actually, this wire coming out of the charge controller, I'm actually going to put it on a breaker as well, just so I have protection on all aspects. And I'll replace this breaker. That way I can use this all for 110 stuff. Right now I can only use half the slots because I'm using this 15 amp breaker for the panels coming in. So I'm going to move that over here and then put this on the breaker as well. And then that'll be took care of. You just can't get well, I couldn't find a local, you know, in a hardware store anyway. They don't have DIN rail breakers. They're all made for, you know, certain boxes. So that kind of tripped me up a little bit, but that's okay. There you go. TR Prepper's little solar project. Like I say, I got some buttoning up to do and cleaning up and a little bit of stuff later on, but she's up and running. That's what counts. I'm excited about it.